And we are live. Good morning, Crypto Warriors, and welcome back to the Gentlemen of Crypto, episode 1137. Today is Friday, August 25th, 2023, and I'm King here to bridge the gap between the community and crypto every day, Monday through Friday at 10-ish. Today's top stories: Tornado Cash co-founders charged with money laundering, sanctions violations, Unstoppable Domains launch instant messaging with XMTP. Shopify to accept USDC payments with Solana is being reported. Bitcoin-backed property investment becomes a new avenue for Cayman Islands residency. And last but not least, Bitcoin sells the sea. Sailor paints giant B on boat to promote crypto across the waves. But first and foremost, of course, we're going to go ahead and take a look at these prices on the day. All right, still a lot of sideways action for the most part. Prices haven't changed, which we haven't really expected, but Bitcoin's coming in at $26,090, down 0.69%. Ethereum at $1,656, down 0.18%. Let's see, number 4, BNB at $216, down 1.13%. Number 7, Cardano at 26 cents, down 1.23%. Number 9, Solana at $20.55, down 4.57%. And at number 10 is Tron at 7 cents, down 0.31%. Those are your top 10 tokens. Trending is Shiba Inu, 1.57% down. I'm assuming that's trending because they're talking about that Shibarium going live for the public as well. Pepe coin is down 18%. Not sure if you all saw that, but shocking. They're saying Pepe essentially might be an actual rug pull in the making. Who would have thought? And last but not least, Bitcoin down 1%. Fear and greed index is still at 34. So again, a big drop from that 50, which we previously had been for a while. Bitcoin dominance is at 48.3% and Ethereum's at 19% flat. Those are your prices on the day. And really quick, of course, let me give some shout outs. Happy Friday, y'all. Happy Friday. Of course, this is a Fuck Bitcoin Friday. The link is in the chat. So if you want to call in for any reason, shield something, tell me I got something wrong, so on and so forth, feel free to call in and spit that work. Get some shout outs real quick. Chloe Dior, Finteezy, Mr. Lemas, and Cario, Bitcoin, Shango, Reno Gamble, Blockchain Bully, JB, Crypto Night Train, Nerd Up, DNOID, Wisdom Bars, Jerron, and good morning, everyone. Happy Friday. Welcome back to the stream. Again, it's been a slow news cycle, but we're going to have some fun with it. So let's go ahead and hop into one of the top stories of the day. Tornado Cash co-founders charged with money laundering, sanctions violations. If you remember, the founder of Tornado Cash was already charged with these same type of things. It was in prison, then released not too long ago. But essentially, they're getting charged with creating a website and software. That's literally it. Tornado Cash is a Bitcoin mixer. You throw in Bitcoins, it mixes them up, and it gives you different ones, so no one knows who Bitcoin belonged to who. It obfuscates it. I think I'm saying that word correctly. And because of this new technology and this new software and this new internet website, this has been enough for the United States to charge humans with creating software. That's right. Roman Semenov was placed on OFAC's sanctioned persons list, and Roman Storm was arrested as the United States continues crackdown on the mixer. These are some cool names. Roman Storm. I like that. Like a superhero. The United States Treasury Office of Foreign Assets Control, OFAC, added Roman Semenov, founders of the Tornado Cash cryptocurrency mixer, to his list, especially designated nationals and blocked persons, SDN. On August 23rd, another co-founder, Roman Storm, was arrested by the Federal Bureau of Investigations and the IRS Criminal Investigative Division in Washington State the same day. Semenov and Storm are being charged with conspiracy to commit money laundering, conspiracy to commit sanctions violations, and conspiracy to operate an unlicensed money transmission business. And the indictment unsealed on August 23rd. It's kind of crazy. Literally, if you make a website that can mix up fake money, which is crypto, with Bitcoin. Remember, this was fake money only used by criminals and stuff, according to the same government. Now it is also considered money laundering. You got to love it. And operating an unlicensed money transmitting business. Wow. The first two counts carry a maximum sentence of 20 years in prison. The money transmitting charge is punishable up to 5 years imprisonment. Of course, we saw Charlie Shrim get hit with that when he was only like 23 years old. So the United States will hit your ass with that. They hit him with that when he had a Bitcoin mixer, essentially a Bitcoin exchange going on in New York. Semenov remains at large. The third Tornado Cash co-founder, Alexei Pertsev, was arrested in the Netherlands on money laundering charges in 2022. That's who I was speaking of earlier. And the U.S. attorney, none other for the Southern District of New York. I mean, really, he arrested people just internationally. Southern District of New York, Damian Williams said a statement released by the Department of Justice as alleged while publicly claiming to offer a technically sophisticated privacy service, Storm and Semenov, in fact, knew they were helping hackers and fraudsters conceal the fruits of their crimes. Wow. Again, the only thing I can say to this is like we don't have the same type of weight. If I don't know, I'm running a drug empire or something, like banks are collecting cash, folks. They're not being held to the same standard. I'm not even gonna go on some crazy rant. I mean, literally, these guys made a website, they made software, and with that website and software, do fraudsters and hackers use it? Yes, but so do normal people. So again, it's like, are we going to start arresting car makers because cars are being used in bank robberies? Like, come on. Like, where does this stop? This is super ridiculous. It makes zero sense. But again, there's money to be had. The government wants it, and they're going after it. It's that simple. Gang, gang. The law enforcement actions are a continuation of a U.S. government crackdown on Tornado Cash that began last year in August of 2022. OFAC placed 44 USD coin and Ether addresses on the SDN list, preventing U.S. residents from using the service. And again, the reason why all this stuff even exists in the first place is because the U.S. government is doing things like this. It's such a slippery slope. You cannot have these barriers to entry to the financial system. You cannot tell another human being, we're going to make sure you have no access to the financial system. But other than that, you can continue life as normal. Just don't break any laws. It's like super fucking hard not to break any laws when you don't have access to the financial system. I mean, like, that's super obvious. So the fact that we're pigeonholing people, and then, I mean, honestly, I'm not gonna go there, but it kind of go there. It's kind of like this black on black crime thing we invented out the blue. It's like, hey, they were slaves. Slaves were freed and persecuted against. You know, you can't be out after dark in some places, or that's criminal. Literally, you can't look at a white person, or that's criminal. Literally. Then fast forward to the year 2023, and everybody's like, why are black people criminals? What's going on? It's a culture problem. Why is this culture problem existing? I don't know. Maybe because you never wanted this set of humans here to begin with, and now they're fucking doing what you wanted them to do. This is the same thing to me. It's literally the United States is preventing people from joining the banking system. They're having these barriers to entry to just regular financial services. Bitcoin solves all of this. Now in retaliation, they're saying, fine, we'll block Bitcoin addresses and you won't be able to use your Bitcoin. Fine. New technologies created. We'll mix up every Bitcoin address. You want to know which Bitcoin belongs to who, so everyone can continue to use it. The point of this is to not having a barrier to entry to the financial ecosystem. And what does the USA find? You want to mix up all the Bitcoin? We're just going to arrest whoever create these programs. Like, you're not going to be able to stop it. It's hilarious to me that they're arresting these people. I'm not sure if Tornado Cash is open source, but if I were the co-founders, I would make it open source overnight. I'll say, fine, you want to play that game? You want to arrest people who use their First Amendment of free speech to create software? Then let's just make it open source like we did Bitcoin, and let's see if we can get 30,000 Tornado Cashes by next week. That is what I would do. I'm not sure if it's already open source. I'm assuming it's not, since we haven't heard of Tornado Cash A, B, C, Tornado Cash SB, so on and so forth. But I really hope Tornado Cash or competitor releases all their code open source so a 15-year-old can just start recreating this. Let's see if you're going to lock up the 14-year-old and give them a 20-year sentence as well for creating a website. Like this is the only way to beat the government in this game right here. It isn't to stop doing it. It isn't to try to hide it or anything. No, it's literally to make it as open source as possible, as accessible as possible, so that anyone and everyone can either jump on your train or literally copy it and do the exact same thing. The government thinks they're going to stop this or not. They are literally not, because the next Tornado Cash that comes out will be an open source project, and they will literally write out the steps in the white paper to recreate it. Hey, if this breaks, this is how you make the next one. We're not going to stop mixers just because not even one government of the entire, like, let's do this shoe on the other foot. What if China and India says, if your country has less than 1 billion people, you don't deserve to have a vote on what happens to the world's resources? Literally, 2 countries have almost 50% of the total population of the planet. Like, let's say they have 40% of the planet's population. I mean, we always talk about democracy. Seems pretty fair to me. Why don't we just let India and China vote on everything that happens on the planet since they're the majority, right? Oh, okay. So democracy isn't really what we're talking about. We're not really talking about voting of the majority. We're just talking about small minorities in the United States having power over the entire planet of humans. This is fucking crazy. Why do I have to keep saying how crazy this is? We literally have 330 million Americans. That is the extent of our power, should be our power and reach. It's 330 million. If you don't fall inside that 330 million, we should leave you the fuck alone. We're not doing that. I'm not sure why. I don't know who this shadow government is or this shadow group of people who are manipulating our government to do this crazy stuff. I have no clue, but it is not the everyday average American citizen. The average everyday American citizen do not have enough in their savings account for an emergency. They're not worried about tornado cash. So again, for our government to use taxpayer money to go after these people to waste, fraud, and abuse against a internet website is ridiculous to me, especially since they're doing it literally just for a money grab. It's crazy. It's crazy. It's crazy. But again, like, could you imagine China and India saying, hey guys, we did numbers. It's kind of crazy, I know, but we got almost 4 billion people between two countries. We think it's fair we decide to tell the rest of the world what we should do with the resources. America, you only have 330 million people. Why do you need so much oil and water when India and China clearly needs all this oil and fresh water? We don't need that much. Will we allow China and India to restrict us? Will we allow them to restrict our resources? Now, normally I would say no, but with good old Byron in office and that Chinese balloon that stayed up for a week or two, might actually say, yeah, we might actually let them restrict our resources, right? The average American wouldn't be okay with this. So let's stop doing this to the rest of the fucking planet when it comes to Bitcoin and crypto. Say, hey, no one on the entire globe is allowed to do this with Bitcoin and crypto. No one's allowed to use these mixers. No one's allowed to do all of this. Or if they do, we will definitely arrest you. Like, this is behaving as a gang. We have to stop behaving as gangsters. We're so much more thought-provoking than that here in this country. We have to stop. We have to stop. All right. I said I wasn't going to do what I had to do. That was my rant on Tornado Cash. All right. What else do we have going on in the news? Let me look at the comments. Of course, I'm going to make sure I paste this. Where is it at? This link to the top. I thought I already put it on there. I put it in there. I didn't paste it. Here it is. Links at the top if you want to call in. What are some of you saying in the comments? Say, I ain't greedy. I'll take half a Bitcoin or just one. Man, I need to hold a Bitcoin too, Satoshi, man. I'm in that space. I need to hold about 3 or 4 of them things right now. Let's see. Yes, watching Idiocracy. The documentary is a must see, says Kaiser. So Satoshi Nakamoto. We are literally living in Idiocracy. Even how Idiocracy came to be. If you remember, it was because all the dumb people essentially were having all the babies, and all the smart people stopped having as many babies because they saw, like, hey, I can't afford a baby right now. Maybe I'll wait to have 1 or 2. Whereas all the dumb people was like, hey, I can't afford a baby right now. Maybe I have 9 or 10. Like, we are living in those times right now. Yes, Idiocracy is a documentary. It's not a movie, unfortunately. Even when it comes to the game shows, it was like how much violence or how much pain you can cause to a person, like the top game shows. It's like, we're heading in that direction. All right, but in other news, Unstoppable Domains launches instant messaging with XMTP. Unstoppable Domains now allows owners of .crypto, .polygon, and other Web3 usernames to send messages to each other through multiple messaging apps. That's right. Unstoppable Domains UD has launched an instant messaging system for owners of Web3 usernames, according to an August 23rd announcement from principal engineer Aaron Quirk. Owners of .crypto, .wallet, .polygon, or other UD registered usernames can now message each other across most apps that use XMTP, including the UD iOS app and website, Coinbase Wallet, and Lens Protocol apps such as Lenster and Butterfly. The announcement clarified that the Android version of UD will not provide messaging at launch, but will provide this feature soon. Why? Because not as many people are using Androids, folks. No, I'm just kidding. I don't want to offend the Android crowd out there. But again, Unstoppable messaging is here, built on top of XMTP. Now you can easily receive DMs with your Web3 domain. Again, this is pretty cool to see. We're starting to see this across the board. For those who have the iCoin wallets, that's an upgrade they're about to offer as well, where you can actually message in between your iCoin wallets. I've used the feature. It's super cool as well. So everything's encrypted and you can send these encrypted messages. So this is happening, folks. I mean, I think this is a good thing as far as adoption. New features. While some of these features will seem simplistic, like messaging services, you have to remember the entire architect of some of these systems are brand new. So getting things such as messaging across, while it seems, super old and easy to do. It's still novel for these programs and platforms to be using them. So cool. Shout out to Unstoppable Domains. It looks like they're doing a little bit more. I think Unstoppable Domains is going to consolidate with a few other projects and companies anyway. So I think once they do that, a lot of the features they'll be offering will be even greater at a faster rate. But right now, as they continue to build, shout out to them. I mean, cool to see. Satoshi said, I own like 5 Unstoppable Domains. Yeah. If you're interested, make sure you get an Unstoppable Domain. I got a .eth one or whatever. So, or I had one. I'm not sure. It might be expiring here soon. But yeah, if it's something you're interested in, this is the technology part of the house where some of these things aren't worth a lot of money right now or may never be worth a lot of money, but the usage and the value may be there, especially if you're actually trying to instant message on these actual domains. So pretty cool to see. Shout out to UD for moving forward, of course. Someone else who's moving forward, kind of funny who they chose to do it with, but Shopify to accept USDC payments with Solana. Very interesting to me. Solana Pay has been reportedly added to Shopify's payment solutions, giving millions of merchants access to cryptocurrencies. Let me take a sip of this little coffee. I really drink it. There we go. Get that energy going this happy Friday. So e-commerce giant Shopify has added Solana Pay to its pool of options for payment, allowing millions of merchants to use the platform to accept transactions, kicking off with USDC, USD coin, stablecoin payments. According to TechCrunch, Solana plans to add other altcoins to the platform in the coming months, including its native Sol token and the meme token Bonk. I will be honest, not sure how this partnership happened. And I haven't really been paying attention to Solana, but I do know they weren't ready for something of this, like of this type of value. Now, of course, not a lot of people will be using USDC off the bat, so technically that value won't be crazy, but I would say the possible volume if every Shopify user were to use it. Like Solana clearly isn't ready for it. They were having outages nonstop last year. I mean, the price of their token and project, while that doesn't indicate value, it has severely dropped. And I would say, while it doesn't normally, while it doesn't have to correlate with value, in some aspects, its price does correlate with value. In fact, it might actually be overpriced at this point. They're not ready, right? They're just not ready. They're not ready for volume. They're definitely not ready for millions of merchants to have access to this type of crypto through the Solana network. So very interesting to see Solana get this deal. Maybe it's something I don't know. Maybe they've done some improvements under the hood. But again, this is happening. Josh Fry of Solana Labs branded the intersection of digital assets and payment solutions as the killer app for crypto, adding that everyone should be on this. Everyone's saying it's going to be the killer app for crypto. For once, Solana Labs cannot be or have any type of killer app for crypto because there are barriers. I mean, we just talked about it. Bitcoin, one can get a Bitcoin wallet, get the rolling. I cannot say the same for every cryptocurrency off the top of my head. I can't say the same for Solana as well. So for me to have that killer app for crypto, it has to be like, again, off the top of my head, easily accessible. So everyone should be able to download it on a phone or laptop, right? You should be able to access it with just an email or something simple as that. And of course, when it comes to the actual underlying token, you should have some type of consensus mechanism that's fair. So of course, with Bitcoin proof of work, anybody can grab that Bitcoin once it's created. I cannot say the same for every crypto out there. I'm not sure how Solana is working with Solana Labs and Solana under the hood, but you need some of those things to be a killer app for crypto for sure. According to Fried, Solana Pay can drastically reduce transaction costs compared with credit card processing fees. Once again, I agree with that. I think any cryptocurrency can do that. Once again, you can put Dogecoin in the place of Solana Pay and it'll do the exact same thing. The network's average charge is just, as you can see here, less than a penny per transaction, while credit card processing fees range from 1.5% to 3.5%. And again, this can happen with any crypto out there. Credit cards, centralized banks and credit companies decided that 1.5 to 3.5% fee arbitrarily. It had nothing to do with the actual transaction cost. It had to do with how much profit they can make based per fee without essentially a pushback happening. Whereas in crypto, it's the opposite. It's like, what's the less amount of transaction costs we can do per transaction in order to get the next one through, because there's always a new one, right? It was actually kind of funny. Whereas, I mean, it makes sense. Credit cards use like a capitalistic thought process with their fees with 1.5 to 3.5%. They're just going off a straight percent. They're not going off of how much actually it takes to process that. Whereas again, the crypto house, we're not going from a capitalistic point of view, from an altruistic point of view, where it's just like, this is what's needed to make it done. Boom. This is what's needed to make it competitive, to make sure miners are still mining and people are actually making sure these transactions are processing, versus how much can we pay them without everyone noticing it's too much. Like, it's kind of crazy. So Shopify estimates that 10% of all e-commerce transactions in the US, or $444 billion of the world's e-commerce market, are made through its platform. The company has gradually integrated Web3 solutions to its operations, including a suite of blockchain commerce tools for Web3 focused stores and crypto wallet connect features. And again, I haven't done the due digging on this, due diligence. I'm not sure if some of Shopify's features are real crypto and Bitcoin features, whereas like you own everything, you have the private keys, or are all these things connected through APIs with Shopify and their partners own the private keys and have backdoors and all types of other centralized aspects? I am not sure, but these are things you want to research before you actually use it as a merchant. Now, if you're using it as a shopper, as a customer, it's not as bad because you're just sending your money to it. You're not necessarily holding on to anything. But if you're using it as a merchant, these are the questions you definitely want to ask and the digging you want to do to make sure that all that crypto is actually yours and not Shopify's if they suddenly go out of business one day or something like that. So again, yeah, I agree with you, Kaiser. This winter crypto market, albeit boring, has been sneaky interesting. That's why I was like, it's not crazy stories. As like, if we missed any of today and today and Wednesday, we missed any of these stories, it wouldn't be the end of the world. But it would be a couple of stories where it's like you log on to Shopify and see USDC. Oh, I didn't know that. When did that happen? Like, oh, I must have missed it, right? So nothing that's like market changing. I would say these are all like slow adoption. Slow adoption. What's the word? I don't even know the word, but it's like slow adoption metrics. Essentially, these are just all goes for adoption. It's happening slow. You get on Shopify today, you get on PayPal tomorrow, you get on Venmo the next day, you get on Cash App the next day. Like, all little small stories, but in the grand scheme of things, after a year or two goes by, it's like, yes, now we have the ability to pay with crypto on 200 plus platforms, right? So it happens slow. Sneaky news stories. Some are interesting, but for sure, it's definitely ones coming in as well. So let's see what else we have. Solana's crypto and focus says Solana's phone payment infrastructure is intriguing. All right, we got to check that out. Let's see. Casper said everyone in Idiocracy are wearing orange Crocs. Yes, it's predictive programming. What came first, the art or the real world, right? Who knows? Because some of these movies mimic, or are we mimicking the movie? Let's see. What's the difference between crypto phones apart from principal crypto being supported? I'm not sure. Honestly, some of them are supposed to have like encrypted wallets already on it where the private key is there only for you and that the company doesn't know about. But you're right. Outside of like already having wallets included and the ability to send and receive, I don't know. Maybe one of these crypto phones will have like the Bitcoin blockchain on it, possible, right? Like, who knows? But as of now, there isn't a lot of different changes from what I've seen. Maybe the price point, and if anything, some of the traditional phones are actually better for just being a phone or being like what we consider a smartphone versus some of the new crypto phones. Because with a smartphone, you can add on all the crypto features to it versus it coming just with the phone. So not quite sure. We got to see. I mean, some of them have came out and fell flat on their face. Some are still in the process of being created. So that is a question that we will have to wait to see right now. All right, last couple of stories, good news story. Feel free to call in, of course, if you want to. Bitcoin-backed property investment becomes new avenue for Cayman Islands residency. I think this is a pretty interesting story, especially when you look at as many people as we have in the U.S. that tuck money away in places like the Cayman Islands. Now they can say, hey, you literally don't have to put your money away here. You can just buy you a mansion or something, right? And we can use that as the principal foundation for your capital. Bitcoin financial services firm Linden ties with the Cayman Islands, opening a doorway for crypto users to use their funds to obtain real estate with visas. That's right. The Cayman Islands has long been a beach getaway for tourists, but the archipelago could soon welcome Bitcoin holders as new residents through Bitcoin-backed loans used to invest in real estate. Bitcoin banking firm Linden, which is registered with Cayman Islands Monetary Authority as a virtual asset service provider, of course, is providing an avenue for Bitcoin holders to use their Bitcoin as collateral for loans to invest in real estate on the islands. Oh, okay. So it's just actually going to be a loan collateral. So that's even better. Okay. Of course, if you pay back the loan, you are supposed to get your Bitcoin back. I'm not sure how the Cayman Islands Monetary Authority works, but if they are legitimate and it does work that way, then yes, this is actually a pretty good thing. You go to Cayman Islands, you buy you a little vacation home, your Bitcoin is used as collateral. Something good, bad, or ugly happens, right? You get rid of that vacation home, you should get the same amount of Bitcoin back, regardless of what the price point of the Bitcoin is. So if it's at 40K, cool. If it's at 100K, 300K, doesn't matter. You're supposed to get that back. They're saying this is just one avenue that prospective new residents of the islands could take to obtain citizenship with investments over $2.4 million in real estate in the Cayman Islands, qualifying a buyer for permanent residency. So that's actually not crazy. 2.4 mil can get you like they said, that golden visa can get you a home there. I'm not sure what their extradition is with the United States or their policies there. I mean, honestly, even if they have real relaxed extradition policies, the United States is not above and beyond just sending a team in there to go grab your ass, unless you're in a country that can fight back. Like, again, if you're in a Russia, China, anybody who can fight the U.S. back and is not scared of the bullshit, you're safe. But place like Cayman Islands, I don't think they got a real military navy or nothing. Yeah, if you're there and the U.S. wants you, you're coming home. They're going to come get you. Speaking directly to Cointelegraph, Linden CEO Adam Rees unpacked a new partnership with local real estate parallel, which has also facilitated a number of crypto-based property sales in the Cayman Islands. Linden will provide real estate buyers in the Caymans with crypto-backed loans, which Parallel will accept as a means to finance purchases. Parallel will only accept borrowed funds they've been loaned by Linden. It is an exclusive partnership in this sense. All right. With all that being said, I'll say this. Right now, I trust the AI more than I do the human when it comes to Bitcoin collateral. And what I mean is, there are already websites where you can collateralize your Bitcoin. Of course, one of the most popular, which we covered, was Polygon or whatever. Or excuse me, Aave. Like, you can already collateralize your Bitcoin on some of these websites. I don't know. Again, humans, like, we're faulty, right? I don't trust putting Bitcoin to a Cayman Island company saying that, hey, here's 30 Bitcoin. Let me buy my $2.4 million house. Whatever. I don't know the exact amount off the top of my head. I don't trust them to keep that 30 Bitcoin for me and give it back to me. If, let's say, the price of Bitcoin today is $30,000, I buy my house, I use 30 Bitcoin, buy my house. I don't trust these companies and say 5, 10, 15, 20 years to say, oh, okay, Bitcoin's worth $400,000 now, and we're going to give you all 30 back. Very risky, people. With humans and them having access to it, especially, it'd be one thing they didn't have access to it. If they have access to it, it's going to be very hard to sit on 30, 50, 100, 1,000, 10,000 Bitcoin that were worth this amount when you gave them, were worth $3 when you gave them to me, and now they're worth $60. That, I'm just minimizing these numbers to make it easy. You gave them to me, they're worth $3, they're worth $60 now, and you're telling me, as a company, we're not going to take all that extra capital and reinvest it or do some stupid ass move or play with it to try to grow our company even bigger before you come back and ask for that Bitcoin. I don't trust it. I trust the AI. I trust the websites. I trust what's already coded in these smart contracts to say, yes, I collateralize my Bitcoin on this platform. This platform holds it for 20 years. I would trust literally the website to hold it for 20 years before I trust the company to hold it for 20 years. That's me. So I don't know how this is actually going to work, because all it takes, again, it will work initially. Where the problem would be is when people actually come back to get the crypto, right? The problem is when I buy that $2.4 million home, when I go to sell it, or when I go to get my Bitcoin back, it's only worth $3 million, or maybe even less. Maybe now it's only worth $1.5 million, but the Bitcoin has went up times 5, times 6. It's going to be very hard to trade in that asset. Like, hey, I know I bought this house for $2.4 million. I gave you 30 Bitcoins collateral. I'm turning in this house at $1.5 million. I sold it or whatever. I want my collateral back at this $2.4 million mark, but my collateral is now worth, literally my collateral is now worth 50 million. It's going to be hard for a company to get that shit back. I'm telling you now, like, good luck trusting these folks to give that back. So right now I'm with AI. I don't know how this works. All it would take is for them not to give one person their money back, one or two people, and then the whole house of cards is going to start to fall, and we got another FTX on our hands. Remember where you heard it from first. So I'm not sure how this will work. But again, on the flip side, if you have a company who's coming in there with fair prices and with integrity and saying, yes, we're going to take this fee percentage when you give us your Bitcoin and when you take your Bitcoin out. We're going to get this fee no matter what. So wherever Bitcoins were, we're getting this $% of a fee from whatever they want to do for their fees and the way they want to structure it. As long as they're being honest with it, this could actually be a great business for any company out there. You just have to be honest. It's hard for these companies to be honest when there's, again, once they start sending $100+ million on the books and they're not used to that, especially from a new market, a new source from being from Bitcoin and crypto, it's hard for them to disagree with their human nature sometimes. Their human nature is greed, unfortunately. So we'll see what happens. But let's see. Zyro said, I like the idea of trusting code, but what about when AI can change its own code? Then they're just as shady as humans. Look, we're not there yet. We got at least 10 more years, all right? We got 10, 15 more years before they happen. Oh, man. Zyro said, clip it out of context. King said he liked AI over humans. He's a traitor. There it is. Listen, this is the worst part. I think I would like AI over most humans, actually. So you're right. I might be the person that leads to the downfall of human society as we know it. I don't know. I mean, come on. I think if I were to put the average warrior in a room with 10 humans and one robot, you are going to like that robot before you like the humans, or by and large, I think. Let's see. Why? Because the robot's going to be logical and just be unbiased and just say what the facts are. The robot's going to say, okay, 1 + 1 = 2. No feelings involved. The humans are going to be like, well, what if 2 makes you feel like this? Well, what if 1 actually feels like a 3? Well, what if we do 1.111 times? Like, it's going to be all this. It's going to get commingled, right? It's going to be all type of confusion. The robot is going to be like, hey, man, look, I don't know what you're talking about. 1 + 1 = 2. Maybe I am a traitor. Okay, I don't know. All right, last but not least, another good news story to end the day on. Bitcoin sells the seas. Sailor paints giant B on boat to promote crypto across the waves. All right. A captain from Brussels took his passion for selling and Bitcoin and set sail on his sail boat, painted with an orange B to promote the cryptocurrency across the seas. There we go. I was actually hoping they had. Okay, there we go. I was hoping they had a picture of the B. Hey, you can't drive this boat through LA. It's gonna be people like, hey, we didn't done it. Look, they don't think this is the wrong type of B. All right. There are some passions that are larger than life. Some so expensive that they cover the 7 seas. For Remy, a captain from Brussels, this is the case. He discovered Bitcoin in early 2021 and has been on a mission to combine this with his longtime love of sailing. Cointelegraph reporter Joe Hall met up with Remy on his vessel, which he calls a Sato boat, short for Satoshi. Okay, to hear more about his nautical endeavors. That's what I'm talking about. A Satoshi boat, a Sato boat, sail with massive Bitcoin logo painted on it. You can see it right here. Pretty cool. I'm choosing to live out my 2 passions. One, the oldest one, is selling, and the new one is Bitcoin. So I created this project by combining these 2 domains. This again is why I love Bitcoin. Like, not saying he might not have some type of ploy to raise capital for this. I'm not saying it as of yet, but literally people do this for free. Like, he painted his boat. He got a boat. He painted. And he said, "I'm about to sell and tell people about Bitcoin." I don't know a stronger economic system than that one that has people around the clock working for free for it, just to get people on board with it. Why? Because everyone understands how much more sense it makes and how much easier it will make everyone's lives all at once, and we just decide to actually use it. So shout out to Remy for putting his money where his mouth is. But he told Cointelegraph that the Be Adorned sale helps him promote Bitcoin adoption in boat races on beaches and across the Atlantic Ocean, where he has sailed the past 18 months. The best thing about this project is meeting people everywhere: Portugal, Spain, France, UK, and discussing Bitcoin, society, or anything in their life. According to his own estimates and from a real-time estimate from Cointelegraph, on the ground, thousands of people have been exposed to the giant bee selling across the seas. Oh, that's a dope shirt, too, to go with it. That's a pretty cool little beach shirt. I think this is an awesome idea. We've seen in the past, of course, the bike races. I can't think off the top of my head the bike race that we promoted here that did the race from the Hamptons, New York, all the way here to California. Of course, they're supporting that women's shelter down in Houston. I can't think of it, but there's been all types of great events and methods to promote Bitcoin. This is just another one actually bringing out to the seas. I can't wait for pirates to finally see this thing. Like, what does this be? You know what I'm saying? What's going on? I guess I was kind of messed up just to assume where they would be from. Seriously, like I can't wait for pirates and everyone else around the world to see this and it actually become a thing. Can you imagine if pirates were to hijack one of these actual cruise liners and be like, yeah, we're going to take everything in Bitcoin. We're not doing this cash thing anymore. So this is going to raise awareness in all parts of the world. Remy remarked that in his opinion, the best way to bring new people into the Bitcoin space is through art, even art that is flying from the mast of the ship. He also pointed out that this experience has helped him draw parallels between the ethos of Bitcoin and that of selling. It's a question of responsibility and independence. When you go selling, you have to be autonomous. Sometimes you encounter troubles and have to count on yourself. With Bitcoin, it's the same. Great point. If you've ever been selling, you know it's a ton of troubles. Of course, I am a proud naval sailor out there. I didn't get my swole pen, so I don't know how to officially drive $1 billion ship, but I do know how to sail and do all types of shit on the ship. I had to take the classes and all that stuff. And yes, I have been on the water before. Actually, I remember I was on with friends before, and I used to rent sailboats in San Diego. If you've been in San Diego, you know how we get down on the weekends. We're taking out boats, baby. But I rented a sailboat. Usually we get like a motorboat or a pontoon or something. For whatever reason, we decided to be cool and get a sailboat. We thought it'd be a fun thing to do. And it was the most fun for about 5 hours, right? 3 to 5 hours when we first went out there. It's a great time. We came back in late, and for whatever reason, the wind died down. Oh my God, people, if there's no wind and you're on a sailboat, you are what's called sold shit out of luck. Or as they would say in the South, you're up shit's creek without some paddles. And that was what happened. We were out of luck for like a good 30 or 40 minutes on the water, open water, no wind. We eventually got some help. We had to get a tow back to port or wherever, back to the docks. So that worked out. It was a very scary moment. Not only that, everybody was drunk and tired. And nobody was just like, oh man, everybody brain that shut down. It was just terrible. I low-key kind of gave up. I was like, look, man, I can swim worst case scenario. I'm chilling. So we were all just laid out on the boat until help finally arrived and gave us a pull in. So he's right. When you're selling, you have to be autonomous. You have to figure out these things on your own, even though I got help on that one. You're supposed to figure out these things on your own. But just like with Bitcoin and Bitcoin wallets and everything else, how many issues do you run into out the blue, right? And it's like you have to figure this out on your own, or even a part of figuring it out, you have to find the right place to go to get help. So shout out to him. I definitely know what that mean when you compare the selling to the actual process of getting through Bitcoin and crypto. It's kind of crazy. Let's see. Kenneth said, I thought I saw you at Huntington Lake. LOL, blow harder and get that sell up. Listen, we was trying everything, people. We were trying everything. Got a boat full of angry girls. The dudes, we all drunk on there, and everybody's tired. Makes it worse. So it's just like, yo, we're stuck. We were stuck. It was a great story, though. I'm telling you. All right. Nobody offered you to get out the boat and push. Man, somebody would have drowned for sure. What else do we have? Last a few comments. Bitcoin Pirates Congo. It represents so much the Bitcoin tour. It does, don't it? Bitcoin pirates, you mean these phishing scammers. All right, Zyro, you took the cake. That is it. We're done for the day. That was the greatest dad joke I've heard. Bitcoin pirates, you mean phishing scammers. This is what I love about Warriors chats. You all come up with this off the top of your head. Other than that, that is the show for the day. I will see you all next week with some more news, other things popping up. Also, all the podcasts are updated. This one will be updated in about a few hours. We're getting the time down as far as when YouTube can actually process this and we can upload it. So probably in a few hours, this won't be uploaded on day, but everything else is already updated. Other than that, smash that like and share, and I will see you all next week. Cheers.